Hey, this is Tracy Nelson. Welcome to my channel, Creation Adventures and Outdoor Education. And today the adventure is we're out collecting some some different berries that are ripe to make different things in the kitchen. So today we're going to be collecting sumac berries, and if you can see right behind me, I'll take my staff and point to these are the berries we're going to collect. And when you hear the word sumac, a lot of people think about something called poison sumac. Well, this is not poison sumac. There's actually three, in my area, there are three types of sumac that you can collect the berries from and use for different things, for spices, for making hot tea or cold tea. So we're going to look at gathering these, and then I'm going to take you through the process of making what I call sumac aid, which is a very, to me, a very refreshing, lemony type drink that you can make, and you know, put it on ice, and it's just delicious. But there's a process that you really need to follow if you're going to have an enjoyable experience, because these berries have small acidic hairs on them, and so if you don't get those hairs out, it could cause a little irritation in your throat or something, and we don't want to do that. We want to have a good experience with sumac. So I'll take you over here and show you what that looks like. Now there are three types of sumac that are edible in this area here, and they're staghorn sumac, which is this is not staghorn, this is smooth sumac, but there's a staghorn sumac that has this same color to it, this really vibrant red color. Then there's smooth sumac, which is what I'm collecting right now. This is smooth sumac. I'm collecting those berries. I'll give you an idea. This is what the leaf looks like. Okay, good look at that. It's more of a shrub than a tree. It doesn't get very tall. And I'm going to collect several of these seed heads or berry heads, whatever you want to call them. And that's what that looks like. Now, this also has some medicinal value as well as just being a good thing to something to enjoy as a cold drink. There's several vitamins and minerals associated with sumac. While you're here, I want to show you. Here is another of the edible sumacs. And it's called, and I could be collecting these also. This is winged sumac. And it's called wings because it has these little outgrowths on the leaf, okay? And we call those wings. So it's got opposite, these leaflets are opposite right here. And those are called wings, and called wing sumac. And it's a little different color than the smooth of the staghorn, yet it also makes a good cold drink, as well as other possibilities with that. And you can, when you're picking them, you can taste that. It's got a real tart, has a real tart flavor to it. So now I'll give you a good look at that wing sumac. And this is not This is not ready to harvest. You can tell. You want these to be a really good solid pink color before you pick them. And so these are just turning. And typically what you'll find the sumac in disturbed areas, in open places. You typically won't find them like in a dense forest, let's say, under a real thick canopy, because they need the sunlight. They're not a shade tolerant plant necessarily. So anyway, that's winged, and then you saw smooth sumac, saw me collecting that. And so go with me back to the kitchen. I'll show you how to process this and make this nice drink out of it. Now, let me just give a word of caution when it comes to gathering wild edibles or wild medicinal plants. Positive identification is critical 100% of the time. You can't play around with plants, because there's some plants that are very harmful if you were to ingest them, okay? And then when it comes to, if you start, let's say you start experimenting with plants, there's certain ways to prepare plants to make them, to help them be edible or you know, taste better. And then sometimes you have to prepare a plant in such a way as to render it not poisonous or not not harmful. So anyway, this if you get into the plants, I'll just give you a little, I won't say warning, but I'll give you a little heads up. It's a really deep world to go into the wild medicinal and edible plants, and I have been studying them for a long time. I don't know, 40 years. And of course I do live in the Southern Appalachians, which is a very diverse area of the world for plant species and stuff. But I'm still learning plants every day. You know, I'm finding stuff that I don't know what it is, or I'm finding another use for something that I haven't used in the past. So the Lord has blessed us with an abundance of wild plants that we can use to for food and for medicine. So, well, hey, this is Tracy Nelson with Creation Adventures, and this will be the second part of that video with, or this just continued on in the video that I just did about collecting the sumac, and I'm going to show you how to process this sumac in a way to make a nice, refreshing cold drink that's also considered a healthy drink, okay? And I'm just showing one way today to do the sumac. But I want you to know something about where I'm at today. This is our school kitchen. I'm in the kitchen area of our school. This is our facility. You can look around. This is our facility where we do classes for children as well as adults in outdoor education. But let me just say, we are a strongly biblically based Christian school, okay? And so when I present anything in the outdoors, it's from a biblical standpoint. We don't buy into any of that evolutionary philosophy. I think it's all a bunch of lies, and I can defend that scientifically. It's just not true. What we offer hope, and the hope is that we have a Creator. He created us in the beginning. He loved us. We had fellowship with Him, and we messed that up, according to Genesis chapter 3. Our great-grandfather did when he disobeyed God way back in the beginning. But also, this is where we focus on not only on the outside skills and the world of creation, but we also look at the scriptures. We don't want to teach anything that's not doesn't line up with God's word. So we see in Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth," and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb yielding seed after his kind, and the fruit tree yielding fruit, whose seed is in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. That's Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, 12. And today we're exploring the sumac, these sumac heads, sumac berries. And so after you collect those, I just put them in a bag and put them in the freezer, all right? And then when I get ready to make something with it, I take them out, and I'll show you what I have here. I just have a nice bowl. You just need something that you can put these in. And then when you put them in, I poured about a half gallon of water, good clean water that came from my well. And I'll put them in this cold water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to rub these little berries between my fingers. And then what I'm trying to do is remove those acidic hairs and let those acidic hairs, soak in the water to get that flavor from those berries into the water. And what I'll do is after I've done this, is I'm going to let this sit for about an hour, and then I'll come back to it, and then I'll show you what the next process is after this right here sits for an hour. But it's really very simple. And when I come back, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I'm going to strain this through a mesh fiber of some kind, a mesh cloth, or I'm going to use this mesh cloth right here, and I'm going to strain this into a half-gallon container, and then I'm going to sweeten it with some honey, and then we're going to have a nice, wonderful, refreshing, healthy drink that the good Lord has given us for this day. And so this is the kind of, if you live in Atlanta, Birmingham, or Chattanooga, I live in what's called the ABC Triangle. I'm about an hour to an hour and 15, 20 minutes from either one of those cities. And if you're teaching your children about the outdoors, and maybe you're homeschooling, or maybe you're just a Christian parent and you want your children to get a strong Bible-based education, especially when it comes to things of science, biology, creation, then consider coming here. This is, like I said, this is our facility. We're set up really good. We have property where we do, these classes, these educational classes. And this would be the example of one of the classes we would do, is going out, collecting some herbs, coming back to the kitchen, letting the children get their hands involved, processing that herb, and then preparing it and either taking it like a tea or some other kind of way of preparing it and taking it, ingesting it, okay? So I'll come back in just a minute and we'll strain this together.